Hey guys, so first we started off with different type of gripping sequences to work on the entry. So a couple gripping sequences we went over. One is outside pad, inside pad, right? Putting pressure, getting the leg split, going into this leg drag, leg shelf type of position, right? Another grips we went for was the shin control, right? With the throw by, with the cross step, the pivot right into drop the weight, head in, feet back, right? So we wanted to maintain these three points, control, right? His hip, his bottom leg, and I'm pressuring him. So depending on what range I'm at, right? If I'm kind of far, I'll start with punching his hip so that I can just get an initial pressure on him, right? And then I'm gonna have to worry about his leg coming inside to my shoulder, right? So I'll keep my head tight, and as I start to get tighter and get closer to him, I can use my forearm on his thigh to block the lasso. Okay? The job of my bottom hand is gonna be to post through his leg. Okay, because his goal is to bring his knee to his chest. So I'm trying to keep his knee down. Okay? Alright. So we have our position here. A couple things. Our partner might try to entangle our leg with this bottom leg. So we have to be ready to step out. Right? We could be doing stepping out like X pass type. If you notice that here on this side, he's gonna be going for the low leg. Okay, so he's gonna frame me away and he's gonna go for his low leg. Okay, so with that being said, these grips both have different stages, right? If I'm far on this side, I can use my hand with my palm. But if I start to get a little more closer to him, then maybe I can use my elbow on the inside of his hip, right? My forearm on him, getting this J point here. And for this knee post, if you recognize that his low leg is coming through a little bit too far, we're gonna switch to a shin control, right? A lot of times what we're working to do is come into a shelf on this bottom leg. Okay, this is kind of connected to the pass that he's trying to practice, right? Is the outside camping J point pass type of passes, right? But I was trying to say that this is a good stage to kind of cruise and rest so that you can start to develop and advance your grips and get closer to your pass, right? Because the outside camping, since I'm lighter, or if you're not as heavy, it's kind of hard to put a lot of pressure, so you have to use a lot of chain passing. But this positioning, where the main idea, right, is to kind of control the hips the whole time as I'm passing, as I'm attempting the pass, and as I'm finishing the pass. Right, so we got to our leg shelf position with our hip post, and I can get off the shin right and go to the knee. So a couple options we got into here, right? We can go lift the base, pop the knee through, start connecting to the hips, right? Boom. Start connecting to this center of his body. Okay? A common reaction when we come here is our opponent shrimps away. Notice that his bottom leg went down, right? We're gonna use that moment, right? When he's on his side and he shrimps away, I'm gonna go into my knee cut, okay? I'm going into a knee pin here. So whenever he shrimps, his bottom leg's gonna go down. We're gonna go for a knee pin here. And all we're doing from here is we're still trying to dominate the hip area, right? We don't want to be too high where he can sit up and get his knee in, right? Want to be low. Okay, we can fight this grip, we can fight inside. Well, we have inside space to get to the hip and chest to chest. Now from here, right, we need to make sure that our knee connects to our partner's close hip. Okay? But what we were saying is, right, if we're deep enough on a pass, and we came into this hip switch position, and our opponent starts to bring his knee in and get on his side, we can take these extreme angles with just the connection up here, and I can start to block his legs here. and still finish into a pass, right? Another good option that we looked at is once you get to the position of the shelf and you feel a lot of resistance, like you can't force your camp and whatnot, one style of passing we did last week was collar pant passing, right? So the pant is in access, the sleeve is in access, or the collar, right? And we can start coming back outside again, trying to play these passes, okay? But the main one that we kind of drilled through and ran through for the majority is coming here, boom, coming here, boom, putting pressure, right? Blading the body tight, right? Low, walking, walking, walking. Okay, connect, boom, connect. That was number one. We get up onto the X pass type of style. Okay, number two. Again, boom. Start walking the hips away. Get into this shelf, right? So depending on what the opponent does, we didn't go as much over on the leg drag, but the leg drag is definitely here, right? I keep the opponent's turn away. I can leg drag, right? And this is definitely a good option. I think what we went over today is once we get here, a lot of times I'll do this, but then we still have to think about the threat of the elbow escape, right? Because he's gonna do that. But since, you can grab it. Since some players are not as, don't have as big of an explosive gas tank, they need more rest spots, right? So I figured this is a good rest spot to keep pressure on the hips and keep them facing away. So that way when we're ready to transition forward, we can go there, right? Every time he lost control and he started moving fast, that's when I recover. But every time he stayed tight and he pressured, right? He just needs to hold the control and now he can move his body, right? And connect when he wants to onto a pass. Okay? Let's see. One more thing is that we showed a way to kind of open this up off of a chain. So say you get into a scenario where you're trying to do a knee cut or some type of pass and the opponent starts to bring their knee shield in, right? We want to go pin the bottom leg, control the top leg, whether it's the shin trap, and walk around. Or we also did a little bit of a looser style where as they recover, I get back into this and I can still go into my same options, right? I think one of the keys I wanted to focus on is cracking the hips. So more so changing the angle and really trying to stuff his hips instead of trying to change the angle and come and pass around the front side first. But it's still a work in progress. Okay, and then one more thing we looked at is this like arm 50. Yeah, we tried this. So off of, maybe I hit the shelf, he starts to come up, we can come here, or straight from passing, right? We're passing, boom, just get into this advantageous position as they try to high leg, right? Our main objective is to block the head control, block the lasso, this high leg, sorry, and connect to the upper body, right? As we take the hips, right? The main key is the hips. As we're passing, my grips are manipulating his hips. As I'm in the mid-range, I'm putting pressure on his hips and I'm not getting eager to go forward to it. Everything is to kill. So I hold this spot, 1 inch he moves that way, and follow. He tries to go this way, I block. Okay, you just keep holding that. And then once I see this opening for his hips or his midsection, I'm gonna drop in with double underhooks. And try my best not to get hooked on the leg like how he does here, right? Try my best not to, but sometimes it might happen, right? So we can go back to our cross face, lock the hip. So that's pretty much what we went over today. Think so? Thanks guys.
Yes.
Thanks for watching.